إِنِّي جَزَيْتُهُمُ الْيَوْمِ Indeed, I have rewarded them this day. Who? The believers who were laughed at. Allah has rewarded them today. Why? بِمَا صَبَرُوا Because they endured with patience. بِمَا صَبَرُوا They did not give up. Because it's very easy to give up when other people are laughing at you. When other people are making fun of you. You're turning towards the religion. You try to read more and more Qur'an. You try to give priority to the religion. Other people begin to make fun of you. It's very difficult to go on. Very difficult to continue. Especially when people look down on you. Because unfortunately, the standards of people have changed today. If somebody is going ahead in deen, he is going towards failure and loss. And if a person is compromising their religion to gain more dunya, then that person is successful. This is what our standards are today. So if a person is going towards the deen, he is trying to excel in the religion, he is laughed at, he is discouraged. What do we see over here? That such people will be rewarded on the Day of Judgment. Why? بِمَا صَبَرُوا Because they were patient. And sabr includes idfa' billati hiya ahsan. Sabr includes idfa' billati hiya ahsan. That if somebody is making fun of you, you don't make fun of them in return. You're tolerant. You're forgiving. You tell them in a nice way. You correct them properly. And sabr includes steadfastness. It includes that a person continues to be on the right way, no matter how much people make fun of him, no matter how much people ridicule him, no matter how much people discourage him. إِنِّي جَزَيْتُهُمُ الْيَوْمَ بِمَا صَبَرُوا أَنَّهُمْ هُمُ الْفَائِزُونَ That indeed they're the ones who are truly successful. They have attained their goal. They are in Jannah now. You made fun of them? Look, they're in Jannah. And where are you? What is your state? So we see that on the Day of Judgment, the tables will turn. Those who remain steadfast in obedience to Allah, despite the mocking of people, despite the discouragement of people, they will be successful. And those who wasted their lives, laughing, joking, laughing themselves and making other people laugh, to the point that they even made fun of their religion, then such people will have failed on that day. We learn in Surah Al-Mutaffifin, ayah 34 to 36, فَالْيَوْمَ الَّذِينَ آمَنُوا مِنَ الْكُفَّارِ يَضْحَكُونَ So today, those who believed are laughing at the disbelievers. When? On the Day of Judgment. عَلَى الْأَرَائِكِ يَنْظُرُونَ On adorned couches, they will be looking, observing. هَلْ ثُوِّبَ الْكُفَّارُ مَا كَانُوا يَفْعَلُونَ Have the disbelievers not been rewarded this day for what they used to do? If a person laughs at the other, he deserves to be laughed at. If a person laughs at the other, he deserves to be laughed at. So be very careful when you laugh at someone. There's a difference between laughing with someone and laughing at someone. The Salaf, they used to be so concerned about laughing at somebody else that they would fear that the same thing is going to happen to us and other people are going to laugh at us. They would be concerned about even laughing at an animal. That if I make fun of an animal and I'm laughing at an animal today, Allah will ridicule me tomorrow. He will make me a laughing stock for other people, that others will laugh at me. And unfortunately, we make fun of animals, we make fun of birds, we make fun of creatures of Allah, we make fun of people, we make fun of children. We laugh at one person, we laugh at the other person, and we don't care about their feelings. We don't care about how they're feeling, what they're going through, how much we've injured them, how much we have hurt them. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is very, very just. If our laughing causes hurt to someone, Allah will take revenge on the Day of Judgment. Recitation? When a person is so lost in ghamrah, in the pleasures, in the enjoyment of this dunya, then he forgets that he will be held accountable for what he's doing. And in that ghamrah, he begins mocking at others. He begins making fun of others, causing hurt, ridiculing their religion, upsetting Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So this is something very, very serious. And we need to check ourselves. That sometimes just to, make other people laugh, just to come across as someone who's very entertaining, very amusing, very jolly, we begin to make fun of other people. And we think we're being very smart. But the fact is that a person who makes fun of others, he's not smart. He's harming himself. He's causing loss to himself. This is so scary. وَلَا تُكَلِّمُونِ Don't even speak to me. If somebody is upset with you, and you try to apologize to them, you try to make them happy, how can you do that? By talking to them. If they're not willing to even listen to you, if they tell you, don't even talk to me, is there any way? Maybe you can go ask somebody else for help. But on that day, Malik Yawmiddin, He is the Malik of that day. Nobody can dare to say that, oh Allah, this person whom you have punished, forgive him. If Allah is saying to someone, اخسأوا فيها ولا تكلموني, who can go and request for that person? And we see over here, إِنِّي جَزَيْتُهُمْ الْيَوْمَ بِمَا صَبَرُوا. Because they did sabr, I have rewarded them. What? أَنَّهُمْ هُمُ الْفَائِزُونَ. That they are successful today. No one else but them is successful. So we see that the jaza for sabr, the recompense for sabr is nothing but success. And in order to be successful there, we have to do something right now. We have to live a careful life right now. Okay, let's continue. قَالَ Allah will say, Allah will ask the people, Kam labistum? How long did you stay? How long did you remain? Fil ardi, in the earth. Adad sinin, in number of years. Allah will ask the people on the Day of Judgment that how long did you stay in the earth? For how many years did you stay in the earth? And in the earth has been understood as in the life of dunya, as well as in the grave. How long was your stay in dunya and how long was your stay in the barzakh? قالوا, they will reply, labisna, we remained, yawman, a day, أو بعض يوم, or just a part of the day. We don't know. فَاسْأَلِ الْعَادِّينَ. So ask those who enumerate. Al-Addin, plural of Ad. And Ad is Adid, actually, fa'il. And who is Adid? Ad, one who does adad. One who counts. One who enumerates. So ask those who keep the records. Ask those who keep count of the numbers of things. Meaning ask the angels who write the deeds. Or ask the people who were experts. So what do we see? That on that day, people will lose sense of time. Why? Due to the intensity of the punishment. قَالَ, He will say, Allah will reply, إِلَّا بِسْتُمْ إِلَّا قَلِيلًا. You stayed not, but a little. In the dunya, you only stayed for some time. For a temporary period. As we discussed earlier, that the stage of dunya, the stage of this life, of this existence, is the most temporary. It's the shortest stage. إِلَّا قَلِيلًا لَوْ أَنَّكُمْ كُنْتُمْ تَعْلَمُونَ. If only you had known. If only you had known that that was the most temporary stage. You were only going to be there for some time. You were not going to be there for eternity. Then you would not be here today. Meaning you would not be suffering today. You would not be in misery and great loss today. If you realized earlier in dunya that your life in dunya is temporary, it is short, it's the most valuable one, then you would not be suffering from punishment today. You would have done something about yourself. You would have done something to save yourself. In Surah Taha, ayah 103, we learn, يَتَخَافَتُونَ بَيْنَهُمْ إِلَّا بِسْتُمْ إِلَّا عَشْرًا. The people will murmur among themselves and they will say, you remain not but 10 days in the dunya. In Surah Al-Rum, ayah 55, we learn, وَيَوْمَ تَقُومُ السَّاعَةُ يُقْسِمُ الْمُجْرِمُونَ مَا لَبِثُوا غَيْرَ سَاعَةٍ. And the day the hour appears, the criminals will swear that they had not remained but an hour. Because the length of barzakh, the length of the Day of Judgment will be so long that dunya will seem like nothing. It will seem like a day, a part of the day, an hour, only 10 days. This is what people will think. In Surah Yunus, ayah 45, we learn, وَيَوْمَ يَحْشُرُهُمْ كَأَن لَّمْ يَلْبَثُوا إِلَّا سَاعَةً مِّنَ النَّهَارِ. And on the day when He will gather them, it will be as if they had not remained in the world, but an hour of the day. This is how short, this is how insignificant the life of this dunya will appear to be then. What does it show to us? That if you put it in perspective, life of dunya, life of barzakh, life of eternity. What is the shortest? Life of dunya. But how much importance we give to it, to the enjoyment that is in it, to the pleasures that are in it. That for the sake of that enjoyment, for the sake of that pleasure, we will sacrifice that which is eternal. We will sacrifice that which is far better, far more important. Think about it. Many things that we know we are supposed to do, and many things we know we are not supposed to do. Why don't we change our ways? Why don't we change our ways? Because we think this dunya is everything. We say that we also have to live in this dunya. We also have to survive over here. Allah has also given this life to us. So we also need to enjoy. We also need to survive over here. And with this, we make every haram thing halal for ourselves. Everything that is not permissible, we make it legal for ourselves. Everything that we must do, we devalue it. Thinking we also have to live in this dunya. But the fact is, if you also have to live in this dunya, you also have to live in barzakh. You also have to live in the afterlife. So never ever give preference to this dunya over the afterlife. Because this dunya, eventually it will finish. And it will seem like only an hour, only a day, only a part of the day. It will not seem that important at all when put in perspective. In Surah Al-Ahqaf, ayah 35, we learn, كَأَنَّهُمْ يَوْمَ يَرَوْنَ مَا يُوعَدُونَ لَمْ يَلْبَثُوا إِلَّا سَاعَةً مِّن نَهَارٍ. It will be on the day they see that which they are promised, as though they had not remained in the world except an hour of a day. On the Day of Judgment, it will seem that in the dunya they did not stay except for just an hour of the day. Think about it. A place where you have to go for just an hour. How much importance do you give to it? No, not much. Like for example, if you just have to go to the mall for an hour, if you just have to go to the grocery store for an hour, what will you take with yourself? A bag and everything in it? Will you take your car filled with supplies? No. Will you take your sleeping bag with you? No. Some people go to the grocery store with just some money in their pocket. That's it. They don't even carry a bag. Because I'm just going for some time. I don't need anything over there. I might not even need my phone. I don't even need my keys. I don't need anything. I'll just walk with the card or the money in my pocket and that's it. So this is how dunya is. You can survive on the minimum. You can survive on very little. You can make do. You can sacrifice. But it appears to be like a mountain, like something so huge. Something that is so important. Something that is so major that you cannot survive without. And because of that, we don't set right priorities. Allah questions us, أَفَحَسِبْتُمْ? Then did you think, أَنَّمَا خَلَقْنَاكُمْ عَبَثًا? That we created you uselessly? Did you think that we created you without a purpose? Uselessly? Without any aim? وَأَنَّكُمْ إِلَيْنَا لَا تُرْجَعُونَ? And that to us you will not be returned? This is what you thought? You thought wrong. Abathan is from the root letters Ain, Ba, Sa. And abath is used for an action that may be purposeful in and of itself. Like for example, a person is cooking food. It's what? A purposeful action. But it is done for the purpose of play. It is done for a useless purpose. Like for example, a person cooks food only to throw it in the garbage. You understand? He spent 2 hours standing, cooking. And once the food is done, he throws it in the garbage. What will you say about this person? He's being foolish. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is asking us, that you think that we created you abas? That you have a body that functions so perfectly. There are so many amazing things that Allah has created. You have eyes that can see so many beautiful things. Allah created so many beautiful things for you to see. The food that you eat, the air that you breathe. So many things Allah created. But all of that is just going to end up into nothing? This is what you think about Allah? أَفَحَسِبْتُمْ أَنَّمَا خَلَقْنَاكُمْ عَبَثًا, that you have been created without any purpose? There is no reason for your creation? No wisdom? No benefit? And you will not be questioned? You will not be brought back to us? You don't have any rules to follow? وَأَنَّكُمْ إِلَيْنَا لَا تُرْجَعُونَ. How is it possible? In Surah Sad, ayah 27, we learn, وَمَا خَلَقْنَا السَّمَاءَ وَالْأَرْضَ وَمَا بَيْنَهُمَا بَاطِلًا. And we did not create the heaven and the earth, and that between them aimlessly. The heaven and the earth, just imagine how great they are. How detailed they are. How beautiful they are. All of that you think Allah created without any purpose? That's not possible. In Surah Al-Dukhan, ayah 38 to 39, وَمَا خَلَقْنَا السَّمَاوَاتِ وَالْأَرْضَ وَمَا بَيْنَهُمَا لَاعِبِينَ. And we did not create the heavens and the earth and what is in between them out of play. That we just wanted to have some fun? We just wanted to amuse ourselves? So we just made the heavens and the earth and all of you. No. مَا خَلَقْنَاهُمَا إِلَّا بِالْحَقِّ. We did not create them except in truth. So we see that there are two ways of living this life. One is that a person thinks this life is just for fun, it's for amusement, you just have fun, you be merry, tomorrow you're going to die, you're going to turn into dust, and that's it. That's an end to your existence. And when a person lives like this, does he care about any limits? Does he care about any rules? Does he care about his actions? No. Does he care about the consequences of his actions? No. But the other way is that a person realizes that after this life is an afterlife. After this dunya is an afterlife, is the day of judgment, when I will be held accountable for what I have done, for what I have said, for the decisions that I have made. I will be held accountable. And when a person lives with that in mind, then his way of life will be different. His behavior will be different. فَتَعَالَى اللَّهُ الْمَلِكُ الْحَقِّ. So exalted is Allah, the sovereign, the truth. You think that Allah created all of this aimlessly? How could you think like this about Allah? If a person does something as small as cooking a food, a meal, for no reason, throwing it into the garbage, you say that is foolish. You think that Allah would create millions and millions of lives. People who would go through times of happiness and times of sadness. People who experience joy, pleasure, grief, anger. People who feel so much, experience so much, learn so much, can do so much, can say so much. All of that you think Allah has created without a purpose? Ta'ala. Ta'ala Allahu. Allah is exalted above that. That He would do a thing like that. That He would create all of this uselessly. Al-Malik, He is the king. He is the sovereign. He is the one with absolute authority. And He is Al-Haq. He is the true sovereign. No one else is sovereign besides Him. La ilaha illahu. There is no God except Him. Huwa Rabbul Arshil Kareem. And He is the Lord of the honorable throne. Of the noble throne. He is the Rabb of Al-Arshil Kareem. Al-Kareem from the root letters? Kaf Ra Mim. And Kareem is noble, generous, prestigious. So He is the Lord of the Arsh that is Kareem. So when He is so noble, when He is so great, how could you expect, how could you ever imagine, how could you ever think that He created all of this without a reason? No, He created all of this for a reason. At the end, each and every person will be held accountable. وَمَن يَدْعُو. And whoever invokes مَعَ اللَّهِ besides Allah, ilahan akhar, another God. Any person who worships others besides Allah, who does shirk, la burhana lahu bih, he does not have any evidence for it, any proof for it. And when he does not have any proof for it, on the day of judgment, فَإِنَّمَا حِسَابُهُ عِنْدَ رَبِّهِ, then indeed his reckoning will be with his Lord. Meaning Allah will recompense him with whatever that he deserves. And what is that recompense? إِنَّهُ لَا يُفْلِحُ الْكَافِرُونَ. Indeed, the disbelievers, they are not successful. They do not succeed. If you look at the beginning of the surah, what did we learn? قَدْ أَفْلَحَ الْمُؤْمِنُونَ. It's the believers who will be successful. And what do we learn over here? إِنَّهُ لَا يُفْلِحُ الْكَافِرُونَ. The kafirun can never be successful. There are two completely different ways of life leading to two completely different outcomes. When a person believes in the oneness of Allah, وَالَّذِينَ هُمْ بِرَبِّهِمْ لَا يُشْرِكُونَ. When a person is fearful and humble before Allah, that leads to an outcome, and that is of Jannah. And when a person does shirk, when a person does not fear Allah, when a person does not care about the consequences of his deeds, then he lives a different life, leading to a completely different outcome. In Surah Al-Qasas, ayah 88, we learn, وَلَا تَدْعُ مَعَ اللَّهِ إِلَهًا آخَرَ لَا إِلَهَ إِلَّا هُ كُلُّ شَيْءٍ هَالِكٌ إِلَّا وَجْهَهُ لَهُ الْحُكْمُ وَإِلَيْهِ تُرْجَعُونَ. And do not invoke with Allah another deity. Why? Because there is no deity except Him. Everything will be destroyed except His face. His is the judgment, and to Him you will be returned. وَقُلْ, and say, meaning, O Prophet ﷺ, make dua. Rabbi, O my Lord, ighfir, forgive, warham, and have mercy. Say, O my Lord, forgive and show mercy. وَأَنْتَ خَيْرُ الرَّاحِمِينَ. And you are the best of those who show mercy. The Prophet ﷺ is being commanded to make this dua to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. That, O my Lord, forgive. Because no matter what a person has done, no matter what great accomplishments he has, after all, who is he? A human being. And a human being, no matter how strong he is, he does err. He does make mistakes. He does fall short. So constantly we are in need of Allah's forgiveness. Rabbi ighfir. And warham, and have mercy. Meaning increase in forgiveness. Rahmah is a step ahead of forgiveness. That not just forgiveness, but also reward. Because without the rahmah of Allah, can any person enter Jannah? No way. So ighfir, warham. وَأَنْتَ خَيْرُ الرَّاحِمِينَ. And you are the best of those who show mercy. What's the relevance of this dua over here? That, O Allah, make us of those who are successful. Show mercy to us, have mercy on us, and grant us success. Don't make us of those who are unsuccessful. We listen to the recitation. If you look at it in this surah, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has laid out before us two ways of living. Two ways that a person can live his life. One is the way of Iman, and the other is the way of Kufr. One is that a person develops the qualities that are mentioned in this surah of Al-Muminoon, who are successful. الَّذِينَ هُمْ فِي صَلَاتِهِمْ خَاشِعُونَ. Those who do zakat, those who purify themselves. And later on in the surah as well, the qualities of believers are mentioned, which are that they don't do shirk. And other qualities are also mentioned. So this is one way of living life. And when a person lives his life in this way, then what happens? He becomes fearful of Allah. He becomes concerned about his actions. He becomes concerned about the hisab on the Day of Judgment. About how his barzakh is going to be, how his afterlife is going to be. And because of that concern, because of that fear, أُولَٰئِكَ يُسَارِعُونَ فِي الْخَيْرَاتِ وَهُمْ لَهَا سَابِقُونَ. A person realizes, I have not done enough. I need to do more. I need to avail every opportunity. And such are the people whose scales will be heavy on that day. Such are the people who will be the heirs of Jannah on that day. أُولَئِكَ هُمُ الْوَارِثُونَ الَّذِينَ يَرِثُونَ الْفِرْدَوْسَ هُمْ فِيهَا خَالِدُونَ. This is one way of life. And the other way of life is that a person thinks there is no purpose to this life. Just enjoy your life to the max. This is all that you experience. Don't care about any limits. Do whatever you feel like doing. And when a person lives in this way, he is in ghamrah. He does not care about the accountability. He does not care about his afterlife. He thinks he's going to turn to dust, and that's the end. Whereas that is not the end. Because Allah questions us. That you think there is no purpose to your life? There is a purpose. You will be held accountable whether you believe or not. Whether you try or you don't try. And when the time will expire, people will want to be returned. But they will not be given any more chances. Not even one. Neither from barzakh nor from hellfire. If you look at it, all of the qualities of believers that are mentioned in this surah, what do they show? Sabr. Because sabr is required to have khushu, to turn away from lagh, to keep to your promises and commitments, to look after your responsibilities. Sabr is required. Sabr is required to bear the ridicule, the mockery of other people, to bear the opposition of other people, to command that which is right, to forbid that which is wrong. Without sabr, a person cannot accomplish anything. So sabr is necessary. And also we see at the conclusion of the surah, we're all taught a dua. That وَقُلْ رَبِّ اغْفِرْ وَارْحَمْ وَأَنْتَ خَيْرُ الرَّاحِمِينَ. Because each person makes mistakes. So ask Allah for forgiveness, but ask for forgiveness with sincerity. Because when a person seeks forgiveness with sincerity, then forgiveness is given to him. And if a person just says it outwardly, then إِنَّهَا كَلِمَةٌ هُوَ قَائِلُهَا. It's just a word that he's saying, he doesn't really mean it. You know how people say sorry is just a word? You don't really mean it, you're just saying it on the surface. I don't accept it. So we have to see, with what intention, with what sincerity are we apologizing? Are we seeking forgiveness from Allah? And we see at the beginning of the surah, the creation of the human being was mentioned. That how the human being, when he's created, he's made to go from one stage after the other gradually. And then how he becomes into khalqan akhar. And then at the conclusion of the surah, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala asks us, you think we created you uselessly? How can a person even imagine that when a woman is pregnant, how much difficulty she undergoes? When the child is being created inside her, how much difficulty she's going through? When the child has to eventually come in the dunya, so much pain, so much hardship. When the child is being reared, when he's being raised up, so much hardship. How could a person think all of this is for no reason? That people are just going to turn to dust and that's it? No. This does not befit the justice of Allah. This does not befit His justice at all. That people go through so much hardship, they experience so much, and it's all for no reason? There's no way it could be like this. So we all need to remember that there is a reason behind our lives. There is a purpose for our lives. And we have to ask ourselves every single day, am I fulfilling that purpose? You know, people have certain goals. People have certain mission. Something that they want to accomplish. And every morning they ask themselves, they remind themselves, they tell themselves, this is what I'm going to do today. This is what I'm going to accomplish today. This is what we need to remind ourselves every single day as well. سبحانك اللهم وبحمدك نشهد أن لا إله إلا أنت نستغفرك ونتوب إليك. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.